Hello, so today we're going to go through 7.5 and 7.6. 7.6 is going to be on the next video, so today I'm just going over 7.5. So this is dealing with some complex fractions, so fraction over fraction, and we're going to go through a couple of these problems right now. So for 7.5, question number 3, the question says 12x squared y divided by 7mn squared all over 3x to the 5th y cubed over 14n to the 4th. So anytime you have a fraction being divided by a fraction, the first thing that we want to do is take the bottom fraction and flip it. So any fraction, a over b, when being divided by another fraction, c over d, we can turn that into a multiplication problem, but we keep the top fraction the same, a over b, and we flip the numerator and denominator of the second fraction, or we take its inverse. So we multiply it by d over c. So we can do the same thing with this problem here. So we keep the first fraction on top the same. So 12x squared y over 7mn squared. And then we flip the top and the bottom of the second fraction and make it multiplication. So multiplying by 14n to the 4th over 3x to the 5th y cubed. Now when you're multiplying fractions together, you multiply across the top and across the bottom. So all of the top is being multiplied together and all of the bottom is being multiplied together. But before we multiply the top and the bottom together, let's see if we have any terms that can cancel on both the top and the bottom. Now the reason that you can cancel things from the top and the bottom is because that's multiplying by 1. So here, 14 is made up of 7 times 2. So since we have a 7 on the bottom and a 7 on the top, those cancel. And the reason is that what is 7 divided by 7? 7 divided by 7 is really 1. So having a 7 on top and a 7 on bottom is like multiplying the rest of it by 1. So we can just get rid of that because 1 times anything is itself. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to split up 12 into its parts. So 12 is 3 times 4, and 4 is 2 times 2. So we have a 3 on top and bottom. So the 3's can cancel out. And on top now, we're left with a 2 times 2 times 2 is the numbers that we have left. So we have an 8 on top and no number on bottom. Now let's look at the x's. So we have x squared on top, that's x times x. And we have x to the 5th on bottom, that's x times x times x times x times x. So if we have 5 x's on bottom and 2 on top, when we can cancel 2 x's from both the top and the bottom. And we're left with 3 x's on bottom, or x to the 3rd on bottom. Now let's look at the y's. We have a y on top, and we have a y cubed on bottom. The y cubed is y times y times y. So since both the top and the bottom have 1 y, we can cancel 1 y from both the top and the bottom. And we're left with 2 y's on the bottom, or y squared. So y squared on bottom. So we've dealt with the x's, we've dealt with the y's. Now we need to deal with the n's. So we have an n to the 4th on top. N times n times n times n. And then we have an n squared on bottom, so n times n. So since both the top and the bottom have 2 n's, we can cancel 2 n's from the top and bottom, leaving 2 n's on top. So we have an n squared on top. Now, the only remaining part we have is n. Now, since there's no m on top and there's 1 m on bottom, we can't cancel any m's. That m stays where it is, 1 m on the bottom. So this is as simplified as it can get in one fraction. So this is question 9 from that 7.5. Now, when you see a fraction added with a number over a fraction added with a number, what we can do first is we want to simplify both the top, very top, and the very bottom before we divide these two fractions. So to simplify them, we have to add them together. So let's just look at the top for now. So we have 1 plus 8 over y minus 3. To add fractions together, they have to have common denominators. So we want 1 to have the same denominator as 8 over y minus 3. Now we can do that by multiplying y minus 3 on both top and bottom of 1. So 1 becomes y minus 3 over y minus 3. So now we have a y minus 3 over y minus 3 plus 8 over y minus 3. Since they have common denominators, we add across the top. So y minus 3 plus 8, the negative 3 and 8 can be added together. So you have y plus 5 on top and y minus 3 on bottom. So now that we've simplified the top part of the fraction, let's look at the bottom part. So we have 1 plus 8 over y plus 3. So we can do the same thing to get common denominators. So that 1 becomes y plus 3 over y plus 3. So we change the 1 into y plus 3 over y plus 3. Then since they have common denominators, we can add the tops together to get y plus 3 plus 8, which is y plus 11 over y plus 3. So that's the simplified denominator of that fraction. So let me rewrite this as one giant fraction over a fraction. So now that we have it in this form, a fraction over a fraction, we can use that trick from the last problem. You can take the bottom fraction and flip it to turn this into multiplication. So we keep the top the same, y plus 5 over y minus 3. And then we make this multiplication by flipping the top and bottom of this one. So y plus 3 over y plus 11. Now, none of these terms are the same. You have to think of this as the whole of y plus 5 multiplied by the whole of the y plus 3, and the whole of the y minus 3 multiplied by the whole of the y plus 11. So since this is its factored form, and none of the factors are the same, we can't cancel anything. So this becomes y plus 5 times y plus 3 over y minus 3 times y plus 11.